Take two. Good morning, everyone. My name is Nick. I'm a student leadership assistant here in the Marvin Center for Student Leadership. My major is adolescent to young adult education. I'm a third year here at BGSU. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I'm from Granville, Ohio.
Hey everybody, my name is Remy Schneider. I am also a student leadership assistant. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'm studying environmental policy and analysts and international studies.
We're here to talk to you all today about how to recruit and engage your new members kind of during this new pandemic era that we're living in right now. But we're not doing expectations. Pardon me. So before we get rolling, just kind of a little disclaimer from us. Remy and I are both undergraduate students. We're student leaders on campus like you all. But we've all been in this kind of pandemic for 6 months, and nobody has more experience than anybody else. Nobody's an expert yet, right? So we're here to kind of work and collaborate and just be creative with you all. But we're all learning together, so please keep that in mind.
Yeah, and so some of the context of today's session about recruiting new members is really around that students are lacking that social connection and are really lonelier than ever compared to any other year before. Student orgs are really that opportunity for students to get connected to campus. So we want you all to know that your student organizations are the way for students to connect. Your organizations are really the solution to this problem.
Absolutely. So the first step to effective recruiting is kind of identifying who it is you're trying to recruit. Who's your ideal new member? Where do they come from? Because it doesn't really make sense for you if you're a major association, for example, to really broadly recruit all undergraduate students if you're, say, the Architecture Student Association, right? So if you're a major association, you may want to look to your college or your specific major program and recruit from there. If you're recruiting for a Greek organization and maybe it's a single gender, you are going to target that particular gender through some sort of means. And then more even deeper, I just kind of ask you all reflect on what are ways that you can get folks who you've already had contact with who might be good fits for your organization interested, right? So whether that's thinking about, okay, who did I go to high school with, who maybe now would be a good addition to our organization, how can I reach out to them? Can I have everybody in my organization write down 3 names of people they know? Just things like that, identifying who your pool is and how you want to get to them.
I think knowing who you are recruiting is extremely important. Another important tip that we have for you is knowing how, what to show your potential new members. So what you don't want to do is just tout around your prestige or your achievements. You really want to show how your organization has that way to connect personally with potential new members. This can look like navigating through recruitment in this uncertain time. It can look like going to Campus Fest with this particular thing that you do, that you can provide, always with that smile, always with the way to be able to connect with them personally on a deeper level. You can still meet with potential new members in small groups. You can still make statements from your marketing that, or for your marketing that really show who you are. So make sure that you are showing what your organization is unique or what is unique about you to who you're trying to recruit.
Definitely. So when you're recruiting, you're doing outreach, right? And there are 2 different types of outreach in my mind. First is formal outreach, and the second is, you might have guessed it, informal outreach, right? So formal outreach I have defined as recruitment activities that go through official university channels and aim to spark the interest of potential new members, right? So this is things that are usually going to be spearheaded by one person, or maybe 2 or 3 people in your organization, like a committee. It's like your campus update, reaching out to email lists of potential new members, maybe visit Zoom classes with permission of the professor, or if you want to do tabling. We're not doing tabling at the university in kind of an ordinary sense, but I have seen organizations out there in front of the education steps, outdoors, spacing themselves out. So get creative when thinking about tabling and how you want to represent your organization, because it is possible. On the other side of the coin, we've got informal outreach. And this is something that can be done by every single person in your organization throughout your entire recruitment season. It should really be a team effort to try to get new folks into your organization. And things that you can have everybody do is reach out to people who they know from other organizations, or just walk around the union and be social, sit down next to somebody. Obviously, you can't sit down super close, but you can still use a shared table and get to know some folks. Even just like putting up posters in residence halls gives a nice physical, tangible item that represents your organization, as it may be virtual this semester. So it's like a little bit more personal for a student who might pass by that and is looking for something to connect with.
Yeah, so one piece of that formal outreach that we think you should always have in your repertoire is an elevator pitch. I think that it's really important to be able to talk on the fly about your organization, why you exist, what purpose you serve, and why people should join you. So if you're a student leadership assistant like we are, we should be able to talk about what our office does whenever someone asks. So it's really important to be able to have that elevator speech in mind when you're talking to anyone, because you never know who could be a potential new member, especially in times like these.
Absolutely. For those of you watching at home, if you happen to have a group of more than one person, I'd love to do an activity with you all I like to call Get Me Something. So find a partner or a group of three, put 60 seconds on the clock, and one of you create a random topic for somebody else in the group. So a topic could be French fries, it could be trains, it could be your favorite food on campus. We ask that you talk about that as kind of an elevator pitch for 60 seconds, no more and no less, and just try to work on honing your ability to talk on the fly a little bit, not trying to be too long-winded, but also making sure that you fill your time, and just take a moment, pause our video, and practice that with one another. You want to do activity on the next one? Cool.
So,
Okay.
Thank you for doing that activity. We really appreciate it. What we'll do now is talk about the steps that come after you recruit a new member. How are you going to keep them engaged? What are you going to be able to do to make sure that they have a positive experience and that you're able to retain them? Because once you have those new members, retention is really what you're going to want to focus on for the next steps moving forward.
Absolutely. So our next kind of small activity for you all is going to be a reflection type activity. So thinking back to your beginning in your organization, what made you want to join? Obviously, there was some kind of positive experience that led to you having interest to join the organization. And then beyond there, you stuck with it. Now you're in a position of leadership potentially. You've been there for a little bit. So I just kind of want to lead a reflection here for you all to think about in your mind. Back when you joined, who was your connection to the organization, first of all? Think about that. Who brought you in? Who was that friendly face? Who was personable? Who cared about you? What did they do as an organization that made you want to join that group particularly over any other group? What made them special? What made them stand out? Why did you ultimately make the decision to join that organization? And what made you feel special when you were a new member coming into your organization, maybe not knowing anybody, maybe only knowing a few people? What made you feel like you were an individual? And how did you deepen your sense of belonging within your organization? That one's really critical, I think. So thinking about kind of that feeling and reflecting on that, maybe even nostalgia, I'd just like to kind of segue into thinking about how can we replicate that for folks who are going to join now during a pandemic. Obviously, there are some barriers. Maybe your organization is really based in hugging new members. Maybe that's your thing. That's unfortunately not something that we can manage in exactly the same way, but how can we replicate that? So I just kind of ask that you think about maybe what barriers are going to be in your way. Are you doing Zoom meetings? Are you able to do face-to-face organizational meetings? And if you're doing Zoom meetings, how can you make those feel personable, right? So just reflect on those kind of things. Reflect on those kind of things, and hopefully you'll be able to create kind of a new member experience that is, if not different, an enjoyable experience that's going to help your new members feel welcome at BGSU.
So the next thing that I think we want to move into is this idea called a relational leadership model. And so in this model, the mantra is really leadership is relationships. And so if we want to have a successful year, especially within a student organization, we need to have a deepened focus on relationships. I think that relationships during COVID, or these times of COVID, are going to have to change a little bit to be able to fit the needs of the times we're in. For example, you may want to start different purposeful programs to help engage your new members, such as a mentorship program. If you are within a Greek organization or a fraternity sorority, you may be looking at having your big and your little. This can be transferred over to any organization to have someone that is that mentor that can have a mentee to help make sure that they are transitioning into the organization and to college more easily. Another good idea that we had was to have a pandemic pen pal. This idea came at the beginning of COVID, whilst organizations were trying to engage their new members, but you couldn't see each other. And this was before I think a lot of us had the skills necessary to operate Zoom or to consistently use Zoom. So having a pandemic pen pal that's coordinating conversations between two people, a mentor and a mentee, throughout the time that they're in the organization. So you build that connection with another person within the organization. The biggest thing, like we said, focus on relationships, because that's what people are lacking the most in these times, and that's what people are seeking. So if your organization is able to provide that, we think that you're pretty well suited to be successful to retaining your new members.
Absolutely. A lot of times we are going to find ourselves meeting virtually once you get new members. And if you're interested in talking really deeply about meeting virtually, we actually have a leadership during a pandemic series session on how to make an engaging virtual meeting. But I just feel for the purpose of talking about new members, when you're meeting virtually, make an effort to make sure that you have a more student or participant-centric, outlook. Try to avoid things like lecturing from a facilitator for long periods of time, or maybe anything that would shift the power towards feeling like older members have more of a say than new members. There are a lot of different fun things that you can do when you're on a Zoom meeting to make everybody feel welcome. Like obviously going around the room and doing introductions is a really easy thing, but if you want to do something a little bit more fun, a little bit more out there, you can do like change your Zoom background to something fun that maybe represents you, just as a way for people to kind of share a little bit about who they are. So I encourage you to get creative and think of ways that your new members can have a voice right from the get-go. Create that sense of belonging.
On top of that, we think that flexibility is pretty important. So consider using asynchronous along with synchronous ways of connecting with your members. This allows people to really connect on their own time with other people in your organization. So even an idea of having your new member, or even every member, make a 60-second video of them explaining their week or explaining something about themselves to be able to share with the entire organization. Anything to kind of help bolster that time that you're not with each other physically can really be a huge success.
Absolutely. So that's kind of all that we have prepared for you. If you were here on a Zoom meeting live, we'd be doing kind of a Q&A session, but we're going to end our recording here. If you do have questions that you'd love to workshop with the Student Leadership Assistants at the Marvin Center, we are more than happy to work with you. Every Friday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Here for the next few weeks, we're going to be having virtual office hours to talk about leadership in the pandemic, how your student organizations look, how they can function to the best of their ability during this trying time. So please come out, say hey. We'd love to talk to you and hear from you.
One other thing I'd like to close with is you can email us at leadership@bgsu.edu or check out our website, bgsu.edu/leadership, for all of our information or to request more information as well.
Thank you very much. You all have a good one.